Salagia, man, Satan fucking with the live, just turning it off, but we're gonna keep going. 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 73. Then shall it be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Right? So the same way Abraham was tried and proved, we're gonna be tried and proved in that fire as well. All right? The furnace of adversity, that's what the scriptures speak of, that all men must go through. So that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be in different situations, and you're gonna be in different situations for the Lord to prove you, to see if you're gonna rely on your faith. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 7. To see if you're gonna walk by faith or you're gonna walk by sight. Right? That sight is the situation that you're gonna be in. Right? Now let's go back. Genesis 22 and verse 3. It says, and Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass, which is a donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which Yahweh had told him. Yeah, so he was being obedient. That's what the Lord wants. He wants you to be obedient and do whatever he say, no matter what. Because it's going to be things you got to forsake. Going to be things you got to sacrifice in this truth. But you're going to get them back 100-fold anyway. This verse 4, it says, then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire of his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, my father. And he said, here am I, my son. And he said, behold the fire and the wood, but where's the lamb for a burnt offering? Right? And that's how you know in the spirit that this is Yahweh Shai, that lamb, right? Known as the lamb, okay? Verse 8, and Abraham said, my son, Yahweh will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. Yeah, and Yahweh Shai is ultimately that lamb that Yahweh provided for the nation of Israel. But it reads on, and they came to the place which Yahweh had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. So you got to imagine this. The Lord told him to sacrifice his son Isaac, whom he loved, not just, oh yeah, go do, nah, this is huge, you know what I'm saying? All right, who the promise was made through, right? So you have to imagine the mind that he was in, like, damn, didn't the Lord say this? You know what I'm saying? Because he promised Isaac was going to be that one. You know what I'm saying? So even though the Lord said that, and then he commanded him to do that, he still was being obedient. So that's the obedience that the Lord is looking for us. That's the obedience that the Lord is looking for in us. We have to be at that point to just do whatever the Lord say, man. No matter what the situation or the sight looks like when you don't understand and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let's grab that right quick in Romans. Romans chapter 4 and verse 18. Give me 1 second. Slack here. This is the type of faith and mentality we have to have. Romans chapter 4 and verse 18. Who against hope believed in hope. This is speaking of Abraham. Who against hope believed in hope. Now, you read it in the NLT. You know what I'm saying? It says it in another way. That's good. Romans chapter 4 and verse 8 in the NLT. It says, even when there was no reason for hope, Abraham kept hoping. So that's the type of faith that you got to have, to just keep believing no matter what, man. Strive for the truth unto death, right? And that's even when the Lord is taking certain things from you and requiring you to sacrifice certain things. You got to keep believing in him, man, no matter what. It says, even when there was no reason for hope, Abraham kept hoping, believing that he would become the father of many nations. For Yahweh said unto him, for Yahweh had said unto him, that's how many descendants you will have. Yeah. So even when you're in a situation where it's tight you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Look contrary, you know, maybe to your life or the life of others, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever situation you're in, there's millions of situations, but you have to keep believing. Even when it looks crazy, to keep believing. Like carnally, you know what I'm saying? People that's relying on carnal measures, they're looking at you crazy because they're like, what? You know what I'm saying? But you keep believing in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. And then what happens? Then the breakthrough comes, right? But hey, as we're reading, right? We're at the point where Abraham literally grabbed a knife, you know what I'm saying, and made ready to literally slay Isaac. So he was gonna do it. He was gonna actually go through with the sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Because he could have stopped like, man, nah, F this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep my son. You know? But when you read, it says it. But you gotta imagine the exact point where he's at, where he's holding his knife, literally about to slay his son, man, because the Lord said so. All right? It says, verse 10, Genesis 22 and verse 10. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord Yahweh called upon him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here am I. And he said, lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest Yahweh, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. Exactly. So Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai just wanted to test him and try him and prove him, right, that he didn't love anything more than him. So that same sacrifice that the Lord required of Abraham, man, that same sacrifice he's requiring of us. All right. So whatever we love, because everybody's different, every brother's different, but whatever you love, the Lord's requiring you to sacrifice that for him, right? And in this instance, he didn't even literally have to kill his son. The Lord just wanted to see if he'll go through with it. You know, what do you put above in your life? What is the principal things in your life? Let's read on verse 13. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. Right? So Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai even tested Abraham, man. So likewise, we're gonna be tested, man. And that's let me see right here. All right, we'll read down some. Let's keep reading. Verse 14. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, right? Which that will be translated, all right, because we know Jehovah's not the real name. It says, as it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord Yahweh it shall be seen. Right? Now let me go and just grab this word right quick in the Blue Letter Bible before I move on. I think it says Jehovah Jireh.
Strong's H 3068. Yehovah.
All right. And it says the existing one, right? The existing one, the proper name of the one true power, right? Which we know is Yahweh. All right. Yahweh. Right? Now, let's keep reading. It says, and Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, which will be translated to the real name is Yahweh. And it says, as it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord Yahweh, it shall be seen. Right? And the angel of the Lord Yahweh called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, by myself have I sworn, said the Lord Yahweh, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, so a precious sacrifice, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And you can read on, right? But basically, to get that blessing, you gotta have to sacrifice, man. The Lord has to prove you first, man. As we read in, you know what I'm saying, 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and 73, that then they're gonna be known who his chosen is after that sacrifice is made. You know what I'm saying? After you're willing to give up whatever the Lord requires of you to give up, because the Lord knows what's precious to you. He put it in your heart for it to be precious, and then for you to sacrifice it or not, you know. But to people, their lives are more precious. Their wives, their children, their lots in this world, their jobs, you know what I'm saying, their hunger, you know what I'm saying, for crustaceous foods, shrimp, and whatever is more precious than Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. So you got to really ask yourself, what do you find precious, man? And when you do, you got to make sure you don't pit that over Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Now let's grab another scripture. So let me search it up right quick. Luke 14 and 26. It says, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. But what does that word hate mean, right? You go into that word hate that the Messiah was speaking of, if you got to hate these things, right? That word hate, when you click on it in the just on the blue letter, give me 1 second. Okay, it's not on this word. I'm trying to find it right quick. Slakia. But that word hate basically means to love less. All right, that's why he said those things, because obviously you don't just hate your family and this and that, but you love less. All right, that's why Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua had Abraham make that sacrifice to see if he loved that less, the thing he loved most. See if he loved that less than Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Because whatever you love more than Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is basically an idol. You know what I'm saying? It could be anything. Your own belly, your own intentions, whatever that may be, or an actual person, right? But let me try to get this. One second, Salagia. I don't know where it's pulling up at, Salakia, but basically that word hate will pull up to be to love less. You know what I'm saying? Let me see right quick. Salakia, give me 1 second too. Well, it's not pulling up, Salakia, but basically, yeah, that word hate pulls up to be to love less, man. All right, so all of those things, you have to love less than Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. They got to be on the back burner for whatever Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua wants you to do. And Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is gonna have you sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have you put forth a sacrifice. That whatever you love the most, whatever that may be, you know? And once you pass, then you get the blessing. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a fight, it's gonna be a struggle, but it's gonna prove you, and you're gonna get the blessing. So be prepared to let go, and be prepared to be tested in these times, man. But that's basically it, man. Lord's will is edifying. Last thing I want to say is call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachak Wadav, should give me the spirit and power to make this lesson. Wa Barakadam, unto the hopeful elect. Kam Yasharallah, Shalom.